Welcome to the Wingman Show. My name is Drew Brown, and my wingman, my man, the number one guy I know, Dr. Paul Thompson. What's up, brother? Welcome to the Wingman Show, where we're floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you two badass jet pilots, rumble. Welcome to the Wingman Show. My name is Commander Drew Brown. That other badass jet pilot is my friend, my man, the guy who watches my six, Dr. Paul Thompson. How are you, brother Paul?
Hello, Commander Drew. I am doing very, very well today. Glad to see you. I've got some pretty good medical news. I had a blood lipid work done a couple days ago, and I'm in the green on everything.
That is wonderful. You know, we as pilots, for a long time, we've gotten checkups every 6 months since the Navy, and I haven't stopped that. Even now I'm in private life. I don't have to do it for the airlines or for the Navy. I still get my checkup every 6 months.
I'll say no, same here. Sometimes it's the guy puts me like every 4 months. I'm seeing different folks, so I'm in and out.
Very good. All right, let's start off with our quote. Being kind isn't always easy or convenient, but it has the potential to change everything. That's by Cap Watkins. One more time, because this is really deep. Being kind isn't always easy or convenient, but it has the potential to change everything. And that's so true. If we are kind to each other, anything is possible. You know, we can have differences of opinion on this planet, but we need to be kind to each other. I believe that's the answer to world peace.
Yeah, I agree. Commander Drew, I think people are listening to you because you talk about being kind a lot. And lately, I'd say in the last month or so, just randomly walking in the supermarket and places, I've noticed people, women always, with a shirt on that says "Be kind." I've seen that maybe 3 times just recently, out of the clear blue. Be kind to people. Be kind. It doesn't hurt. Little phrases like that. It's always typically a black shirt with white or gold lettering. I've seen it 3 times, throughout the city. So I think someone's listening to you.
I hope so. I have a sweatshirt that says "Make America Kind Again." So I guess you're right. It's good I'm glad we're promoting that. All right, let's promote some good news because, this world is just full of bad news, it seems like, but it's not. That is not true. So the Wingman Show, we bring you good news. So let's just start off. Can you imagine being on a 20,000 person wait list for a croissant? That is crazy. Well, Kevin Durant and Tom Brady, they are sponsoring this bread called Hero Bread. And I guess they came out with a croissant. Paul, there's a 20,000 person waiting list. How good is that damn croissant?
Well, it must be, I could have gotten on the list. In fact, I didn't need to be on the list. I heard about the Hero Bread, and actually I bought some yesterday. I bought them. It's very good. And this one, they make a white bread, one with kind of it's got sprouts in it. I think they have hot dog buns, they have wraps, and the croissant. And at my supermarket, they had one of each just sitting there, and I had a choice. I said, let me get one. I didn't know they had it, but I called and said, yeah, we carry it now. So I got the one with the sprouted wheat, and this one has just 1 gram of carbs.
And 1 gram of sugar.
This one has 0 grams of sugar. And the white has 0 grams of sugar. I tasted it last night. It was great.
Hey, Doc, how about this good news? For 70 years, the California School for the Deaf has a football team, and for 70 years, they have not had a winning season. And they were getting made fun of. People were saying things about them for a very long time. Well, guess what turned around? They have just won 2 championships. They're going for a 3-peat, and they are excited as heck. And I guess nobody's making fun anymore, Paul.
Yeah, I read about that. And the interesting thing of that is that the head coach is also deaf, and they have an efficient way of communicating signals to one another. And it doesn't matter what the noise level of the stadium is. They make these fantastic plays and are out playing all kinds of gigs. I think they were in like Riverside, California, outside of LA.
There's something else interesting. In sports, a lot of people, we talk shit when you play sports. Well, guess what? Nobody can talk shit to them. I think that's wonderful, don't you?
I never thought of it that way. You're right.
They can't get inside their heads. All right, I got some more. How about this? They have just invented an electric bandage that is 30% more efficient. And it's because it's electric. You put a little bit of water in it and it activates the electricity. But the point being that there's a lot of wounds, especially for people with diabetes, foot wounds that don't heal. And they're saying that this is a turnaround. This electric bandage can actually start healing some of the wounds that didn't heal before.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but I know there's like an electrode on one side, the battery on the other, and I think you put a drop of water, activates the battery, and apparently it's pretty inexpensive.
Yeah, and I think that that's excellent technology. You want some more technology? AI now can detect high blood pressure through voice. How about that? You can actually record your voice, and now they're saying AI can tell you if you have high blood pressure. And blood pressure, high blood pressure is a silent killer. Well, I guess
Right.
it's not silent anymore.
Right. Well, this is good. Now, your blood pressure changes throughout the day, which I didn't know. It depends on what you eat and things like that. But I guess they must get the original reading from some to take some baseline, I guess, when you're normal, and then compare it with your voice. That's amazing.
Well, we can add this. The iWatch is now going to be able to check you for sleep apnea. And sleep apnea can be very dangerous for people. But now your iWatch will tell you if you have sleep apnea. More technical good news.
Yeah. I guess you gotta sleep with the watch on, which I've never done, but I guess people sleep with those devices on their head, so maybe with the watch is easier.
Oh, yeah. I'd rather sleep with a watch than a device on my head. How about this? This is amazing. There was a baby born in a Welsh cinema. They were the baby was actually born in the lobby. The woman said that she had a little bit of a discomfort, so she got up from her seat, went into the lobby, and right then and there, she had the baby. The people in the movie theater actually helped her out. They called 911 or whatever the number is in Wales, but they called the emergency and the people talked them through delivering the baby. But you want to hear the best news? That baby has movies for life in that movie theater.
Well, that's good. Well, I hope it's a movie, it's a chain of theaters, not just one, in case they go out of business there. What can the baby take a guest? I'm gonna go
I
buy.
don't know. I don't know. I just know that that baby gets free. And last thing about this good news and technology, they're going to say that new AirPods 2 are going to actually be able to become hearing devices. And instead of me getting my hearing aids from Costco, which I did, I could have just bought a pair of AirPod 2s. How about that?
Yeah, yeah, dual purpose. One less thing you got to count for.
Well, whether you like it or not, technology is here and you need to get with it. Matter of fact, Uber next year is going to have driverless cars. You're going to call up an Uber and there won't be a driver in there. I don't think you have to tip the person. What do you think about that?
That's good, and they're gonna have Uber. And I think there's a company that's doing working on flying taxis. It'll be the same. There'd be no pilot, no nothing. You get in and you hover over it. It's being worked on now.
Well, in San Francisco, they actually have driverless taxis. So it's working right now. And if you want to just get all high tech, the name of our show today is How to Buy a Tesla Cybertruck. Get the new iPhone. Well, guess what? Drew got a new Cybertruck. Yes, I did. And it is a bad mamma jamma. Paul, that thing goes from 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds. It's comfortable. It's big. It is amazing. There's not a button in the cockpit. There's nothing there but a screen. It is an amazing automobile, and I really liked it. But why I put the iPhone with this title is because I bought the entire thing on my phone. I never spoke to one person. The last text I got from them is come pick up your Cybertruck. They did the banking, they did everything on this app. The Tesla app does everything. Technology's here, whether you like it or not. And I'll tell you what, anybody who can hear my voice, even if you don't like technology, you need to start liking it because you're going to get left in the dust. If you don't have a smartphone, you can't even go to a concert, a baseball game. You can't go anywhere almost, and it's going to just get more. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I agree. And your message is really to an older generation of people, because young people, they already know this. They don't need to hear this. So there's our people our age sometimes are very, very resistant to get into anything, and you really are going to be left out. So the reality is you're going to have to take some time, like we used to say sometimes in the Navy, when all else fails, read the directions. You may need to just sit down for 20 minutes or maybe a few 20-minute sessions to get the basics and start. You want to start it in the middle or get to the end. You can't do that. You start at the very beginning like you did, learn how to do multiplication and division and get up to speed with the basics, and then it'll get easier. Don't skip steps.
100%. You know what RIF stands for? Reading is fundamental.
Yeah.
You have to read the instructions. You do have to do that. And they make all this technology for third graders and fifth graders.
Right. And that's
it's
the thought.
not hard. Anybody who's putting something out there on an app, they want you to be able to use it and use it very good.
Yeah. And the only thing I'll add, not to interrupt you, but I say, read. But if you don't want to do that, get one of those third or fifth graders to explain it to you. And that'll count as your training too. That's acceptable.
That's very true. Well, Paul, we're sponsored by Magic Mind, which is an incredible drink. I had mine this morning. I'm sure you had yours. We're sponsored by Magic Mind. And one of the things that Magic Mind says it can do is enhance your motivation. And I would like to read to you exactly, because I didn't know this. What is the actual definition of motivation? It is the reason one has for acting in a certain way, the desire to do something. And have you had any better motivation since you've been taking Magic Mind?
Yeah. Recently, I've had a kind of an improvement. There was like a particular writing project it should be finished now. And I've really been kind of hemming and hawing and kind of staring at a piece of paper. And that's as far as it's gone. And I've done more on it in the last 2 weeks than I've done in the last 2 months, which is a knock against me. But I'm actively doing it. I'm 3/4 complete.
I think that might be the Magic Mind. Well, for me, I'm learning Hebrew and Spanish, or relearning Hebrew, and I'm learning it on this app called Duolingo. And I used to do one a day of each. I just wanted to keep my streak going. Well, now my motivation is really ramped up. I love doing it. So I'm doing 2 and 3 lessons a day on each. And all of a sudden that happened. And hopefully it's that Magic Mind. And anybody out there who'd like to get this Magic Mind, all you have to do is go to magicmind.co. That's magicmind.co. And if you get a subscription, they'll give you 40% off. But if you just like to try one, all you have to do is put in the code Wingman20. That's Wingman20, and you'll get a 20% discount off of Magic Mind. I'll tell you right now, it's working for me. Don't you think?
Yeah, it's very good. And it really tastes good. The taste is getting, it's better and better.
What you told me to do is put it in the refrigerator, and I'm doing it now, and it tastes great as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I do mine refrigerated.
Yes. All right, everybody. Thank you so, so much, everybody out there, for supporting us, for listening to us, for subscribing to the podcast. We truly appreciate it. On Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts, we really appreciate everything that our audience is giving us. We truly appreciate it. We're getting bigger and better all the time. And if you look behind us, you see some badass jets. As a matter of fact, we both flew these jets. Dr. Paul behind him has an A7 Corsair on the Catapult, and I myself, I have an A6 Intruder on the Catapult also. Where do you think we're getting shot off into, Paul?
I have no idea. Somewhere in the water. Somewhere in the water, someplace.
Well, we have a newsletter also, and our website is wingmanshow.com. That's wingmanshow.com. And we have a newsletter. And this week, it's to boost your brain power and improve brain health. And it's very important. Your brain is the most important organ, and it's the only organ in your body that really doesn't regenerate itself. Brain cells don't regenerate. So you need to really take care of your brain. We also, on the website, have something called the frequent flow line. And the frequent flow line is a place where you can ask Dr. Paul and Commander Drew a question, and we will answer it. And I have a frequent flow line letter for us this week. It's from a 38-year-old woman in Dayton, Ohio. And she writes, I know you guys must have went through hell being naval aviators. How did you deal with racism? Keep floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Well, thank you very much for that question. Dr. Paul, let me give that to you first.
Okay, in terms of the question, appreciate the question. Basically, you got to consider that somebody like me, I guess you too, we're Jim Crow era babies, and we've actually seen quite a bit. And Jim Crow, for those who don't know, that was a system of essentially legal segregation and what they called separate but equal under what some would call the color of law. That was basically enforced by law, in some cases by actual terrorism. So as time went on, as I was a young person, it seemed as though more opportunities and rights became available almost year by year. Nothing was ever perfect, but I was always told to do the best you can and get ready to compete. So I never had an illusion that everything would be perfect and everybody would be perfect. At the same time, everybody wasn't bad. And my experiences overall have been very, very positive. You do have some rough spots and rough people you got to deal with, but it takes a certain amount of steel and grit that you have to get through things. And sometimes that's required. It required me quite a bit. Maybe due to some of my failings or the failings of other people. Sometimes you don't really know what it is, but you have to keep moving and have a goal and not get wrapped up with who likes you and this and that. I've been in aviation more than 50 years now, and I can say the bulk of the time I've been around very, very good people. I would say the overwhelming majority of the time. You get some jerks now and then, but you just have to deal with it. And I think you find that in any aspect in life. So in terms of looking back and being resentful, I'm not at all. I have obstacles, I get around.
That's a great answer. And, one apple doesn't spoil the whole bunch. And there are a lot of rotten apples out there in the world, not just aviation. But first of all, thank you for this question. Obviously, you know a little something about naval aviation because you called us naval aviators and not just pilots. And the reason we are called that is because we're not just pilots. We're actually officers in the United States Navy, and we have other jobs other than flying. I believe the Air Force and other places, all you do is fly. Well, not naval aviators. So we do more than fly. What we do is we have different jobs in our squadrons, and we have men under us, or men and women now under us, that we have to manage. So naval aviation is a big, 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 big thing to do. But as far as racism, I have a saying that I was taught. I was raised by very good parents and grandparents. And first of all, nobody can look down upon you if you're above them. And as far as I'm concerned, if you're a racist, you're below me. So we don't have the same kind of equality. But I will tell you this. I did find racism in the United States Navy by certain people, not by the Navy, but by people. But you know what? I made a negative into a positive because every time they tried to stop me, it just made me want to work harder and harder. And I would get a down in a flying sequence and I would work twice as hard. And I became the best in that sequence of anybody else in the squadron. So racism is out there, but it's not. This is a Homo sapien thing. It has nothing to do with black and white because you have white people who don't like white people, black people who don't like black people. It's all over the world. It's just a human injustice that we have. And it's usually given by people who look down upon other people just to make themselves look better. And that will bring me to a Wingman PSA from the 11 Facts in Life. Under fact number one, control your emotions and take responsibility for your actions. Under fact number one, control your emotions and take responsibility for your actions. Paul, I told you 20 seconds of anger can get you 20 years in prison. You have to control what comes out of your mouth. You have to take responsibility for the things that you do. And so if you ever get really angry, what you need to do is sit down, shut up, and don't do anything for 24 hours. And it will subside. It will get better. It will get easier. But you really have to control your emotions. And there are certain things you can say to people that can really hurt them. And you might say you're sorry, but once you put that nail in a piece of wood, yeah, you can pull the nail out, but it'll always have that hole. What do you think, Paul?
I think so. In fact, since you're such a big rap aficionado, that should be a song you write. That should be a song. 20 seconds of anger can get you 20 years. You can work that into something. Put it out there. I mean, you could, or a poster or something like that with a little graphic design. That's not bad.
Isn't that?
You could. Think about it. You could.
It's very good. I wanted to be a rapper. Do you know what I wanted my rap name to be?
Yeah.
MC Cat, which is actually MCAT. And that's what my son had to take to become a spine surgeon. So I wanted to be MC at, and then I would have liked more a doctor's coat and rapped like that.
Okay. With the stethoscope out. You gotta have a stethoscope.
I would have wrapped him to my stethoscope. That's correct. Once again, Magic Mind is our sponsor. And they also have a lot of ingredients in that Magic Mind that gives you the motivation and less stress. And one of them is chlorophyll. And I didn't know what chlorophyll actually was. I thought it just had to do with plants and taking light and making it energy. Well, chlorophyll actually has detoxifying properties, and it eliminates harmful substances like toxins and environmental pollutants that can reduce impact on your brain, and it gives you better brain health. It also has anti-cancer properties, and it improves cognition. But that brain health is what I really like, because you have to take care of your brain. Everything comes from your thoughts. And as long as you can keep working on your brain and keeping it healthy, you're doing okay.
Right. Yeah, it also has good antioxidant benefits. We need antioxidants. Can help with helping deal with cancer prevention because it fights those cancer cells. It helps your endocrine system, helps with weight loss, and just general detox. Also helps in wound healing. We were talking about the bandages, so it helps in a lot of things.
Yes,
Get it from your green leafy vegetables and supplements and things like that. But yeah, put it in your diet. Have a good diet, not junk food.
No doubt about it. And if you'd like to get some of that Magic Mind, if you get a subscription, they say you will get 40% off, which is great. All you have to do is go to magicmind.co. That's magicmind.co. And if you would like to try it one time, put in the code Wingman20. You'll get 20% off your first order if you put in Wingman20. But we take Magic Mind and we love it. All right, it's time for the gouge. And Dr. Paul said gouge is the things we need to know. I say it's shit we need to know that people don't usually tell us. Well, we were just talking about the brain. And how about this? Our brains are actually getting bigger. Since 1930 to 1970, our brains volume has increased by 15%. And they're saying the larger the brain mass, the better it is for not getting dementia and other brain-related problems. Paul?
Yeah, I think that's probably likely because if you're breathing and thinking, we're exposed to a lot more information now. Maybe too much, but your brain may be getting exercised just by processing news reports or things that are happening, or even sports, as opposed to just kind of sitting around dormant and staring at space. That's just a guess.
How about we talk about 5 things a brain doctor, neurologist I'm sorry, a neurosurgeon. A neurosurgeon said that these are 5 things we need to stop immediately if we want our brains to get better. And the first one is skipping vigorous exercise, not just regular exercise, vigorous. You need to get some high intensity training in your exercise while lifting weights or doing cardio. But skipping vigorous exercise is one of the things that you need to stop doing. Number 2, not drinking enough water. You must be hydrated. Our bodies are 70% water. Keep that water inside you for that organ called your brain. Obviously, smoking and drinking, you need to stop that. And that's very obvious. And in most things, to get healthy, you need to stop that. Number 4, not getting enough sleep. Sleep is essential to brain health. And number 5, I like this one, Paul, living an insular life. In other words, talk to people, hang out with people. You cannot be by yourself. You cannot be a man on your own island. You need to have a social group and work your brain. That's why I do Duolingo, learning languages. You have to stay constantly active with your brain.
Yep.
What do you think?
Yeah, get up, show up, pay attention, keep moving, get away from drugs and alcohol, and get your sleep. That's very important, and try to be positive.
That's for sure. Be positive. And I walk around with a half-gallon bottle of water every day, and I make sure I finish that half-gallon before I start drinking my seltzer water.
Yeah,
So
that's I've heard that's a good recommendation. I kind of mix them sometimes, but yeah, I agree
and
with
I'm
that.
putting a little electrolytes in my water now too, since we're working out so much.
I do that. Yeah, I always juice typically a lime or two in my water, and I carry a 40-ounce jug with me.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, the name of our show is the Wingman Show. And the reason we call it that is because there are people out there who watch out for other people. And boy, do we have a good wingman for you today. In Nashville, John Bon Jovi was doing a music video on a bridge, and they were filming this video. And all of a sudden, he saw something very strange. He saw a woman on the other side of the railing of the bridge. And it was very awkward for somebody to be on that side of the bridge. And this all happened, believe it or not, on Suicide Prevention Day, the National Suicide Prevention Day. Anyway, they actually have a video of this. He walked over to this girl slowly, him and somebody else, and he started to talk to her. And do you know that he talked this woman down off of possibly killing herself? Talked to her, and it was John Bon Jovi doing it. Could you imagine her face when she heard that loving voice telling her that it's going to be okay? And I don't know exactly what he said to her, but do know in the video, she turned around, she hugged him, and she climbed back over that bridge. And just to add a little bit more about John Bon Jovi that I didn't know, did you know that he opened up some free restaurants in New Jersey, where he's from, and you pay what you can, you don't pay, or you pay a little bit extra. But these are for people who don't have a lot of food. He opened them up, and they're called JBJ Soul Cafe. What do you think about that? John Bon Jovi, Wing on a Prayer. How about that?
Yeah, I think that's great. He's definitely a superb wingman. Yeah, the last thing he said, I did hear about him opening. I think when he opened up the very first restaurant, that was the story. I think it's somewhere near Philadelphia, and apparently he's also a philanthropist. But to get her off the bridge is exceptional, and it just shows what good things that can happen out of the clear blue if people have a good heart and a good spirit. Again, he helped someone that was obviously in need, and hope she's doing better.
I hope she's doing better. And it was ironic that was on National Suicide Prevention Day. Way to go, John Bon Jovi. I might start listening to more of your music. I do like your music. But anyway, thank you, everybody out there, for listening to us and supporting us. And everybody out there, if you can hear my voice or see me on YouTube, anything that you think is important, anything that you think is beautiful, and especially anything that makes you happy, may you have that today and forever. I pray for peace.
I pray for peace too. And it's been good talking to you today, Commander Drew. And to those who listen, like, and share our message, we appreciate you. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button. If you're watching on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. We'd appreciate it. Most people are not subscribed. Subscribe so you'll get a notification every time we put out a new episode. It's good to have some good news for a change. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you once again, Dr. Paul Thompson, my friend. Thank you for your love, your time, and that's something that we won't ever get back. I want to thank all the listeners, too. Thank you so much for doing the show, Dr. Paul. We're jamming.
Well, thank you, Mr. Drew, for inviting me on. Always good to talk to you. And ladies and gentlemen, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast or any of the podcasts. If you're looking at YouTube, they say smash the like button. Don't smash it. Just press it gently and use as a link to all your friends. You can also look at us on our website, wingmenshow.com, WINGMEN show, SHOW.com, altogether, wingmenshow.com. And we hope to see you in the future. Thanks again, Mr. Drew.
Oh, you're welcome. And we're still floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you badass jet pilots, rumble. May there be peace on earth and goodwill towards all men and women.